Welcome to DPC Pediatrician. We're Dr. Phil Boucher
and Dr. Marina Capella, two DPC
pediatricians
who are on a mission to share our love of direct primary care with you.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of DPC Pediatricians. Today, we're just going to give a little update on what's going on in our clinics because people have told us they like to know just kind of the nitty gritty of what's going on behind the scenes. I feel like that's a great way for me, at least, to come up with new ideas, is hearing what other people are doing and what's working for them. And so we were just going to share back and forth a couple of different ideas. So we didn't talk about the format in advance, but I was thinking we could just do one and then one and then one and then one and one and share some different ideas. So Marina, what's going on and what's new in your clinic right now?
Yeah, I would say my biggest update, it's pretty exciting, is that I purchased a building for my practice, and that was about a 5 months long painful process last year. We finally got the keys at the end of October to the building, and then I thought we would be able to move in pretty quickly, but some electrical repairs and getting new flooring in some rooms and getting doors for some of the rooms and just, getting furnishings ready and stuff took a lot longer than I expected. But we were able to finally move in just a few days ago. So I'm really excited. It's an old historic home that was renovated a couple years ago, and it's just beautiful. It has a beautiful,
It is beautiful. I've seen the pictures on Facebook.
Staircase and this fireplace in the waiting room and a lot of natural light. And yeah, I'm really excited. So my goal is really to make it kind of not just a pediatric clinic. We have 3 physicians working out of this space. So I have myself, Margie, who's my clinic partner. She has her own DPC, but we kind of help each other out. We partner with a lot of stuff. And then after I purchased the building, a family doctor who used to be my family doctor, actually, when I first moved to Salt Lake City, she reached out and said, "Hey, I remember you said you were leaping into DPC when I last saw you a few years ago. I'm making the leap into DPC and I'd love to pick your brain." She said, "I want to specialize in women's health and I'm looking for a space." And I said, "Hey, come check out this building. I have some rooms for lease." And so she's going to be there, and it'll be awesome because our patients whose moms say, "Hey, do you have someone like you who can see me?" We say, "Yes,"
right over there,
right down the hall. So that'll be amazing.
That's amazing.
This kind of DPC partnership community. And then we would love to get a mental health therapist in the space and either physical therapists or occupational therapists in the space as well. So really excited. It's a beautiful building. People walk in and they're like, "Oh, it just feels different. It feels like a beautiful, welcoming, therapeutic environment instead of like a clinic." Right. And I think that's really fun to have that. It's been a lot of pain. It's been a lot of expense.
Oh, I'm sure.
I think financially I've taken a hit, of course, trying to make that purchase and everything, but it's kind of the next step, right? I was growing, doing well, finally to the point where I had money to reinvest in the business through acquiring a building. And it's really exciting.
Congratulations. We'll have to put some pictures up on the Substack page for this so people can see it, or they can look on Facebook, but it's so cool. I love the space.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my biggest update recently. What about you, Phil?
I think one of the big things that we've been doing this year so far is really focusing on what we're good at. I think in DPC, especially at the beginning, you really want to be anything to anyone that has a pulse and a payment method and a problem to solve. And now I think we're finding, okay, these are the patients that we take really good care of and the ones that really stick around for a long time. And so for us this year, the 2 big areas is one is newborns. And what we love about newborns, I mean, they're sweet and we love just kind of having them grow up with us, but also parents love our model and they use us a ton and get a ton of benefit from the direct primary care model. I think as kids get older, oftentimes the parents do the math and find it harder and harder to necessarily support the cost of the membership when their kid might not be coming in very often. And we kind of have to keep figuring out how to make sure that they feel like it's worth it for them to stay members. Whereas newborns feel like they're bothering us. And we're like, no, we love all of your newborn questions. We don't mind when you send us pictures of your baby's poop. That's what we're here for. And so please keep doing that. Maybe not quite as many poop pictures, like just kind of a synopsis of the poop pictures is fine. But
Mhm.
so we're really focusing on newborns, and then we do a lot of mental health too. And I think that's a big place where we're able to shine for a lot of different reasons. We do a lot of ADHD because we all like taking care of ADHD patients, but we do lots of anxiety and mental health. And our nurse practitioner does a lot of more of the complex mental health issues where they're needing to use more medications or medications outside of the typical toolkit when they can't get in to
Mhm.
see child psych for years.
Yeah.
We're able to handle a lot of that. So we've kind of decided, okay, we're going to focus on these rather than trying to be everything for everybody. We'll still happily take new school aged or high school kids that need direct primary care home, but we're going to focus our advertising and our marketing efforts specifically on these two areas. And we really enjoyed that. And it's able to kind of dive in deeper rather than feel like we can talk about newborns. We also have to talk about toddlers. We also have to talk about school aged kids. We can just focus on where we're really good at. And so that's kind of been
Mhm.
one of our big things that we've been focused on so far this year.
Yeah, excellent.
What else is
Yeah,
new with
that's
you?
what I would agree with that sentiment that like the parents of like younger kids tend to appreciate the DPC model more. And
For
so
sure.
that's often, I've had families who also struggle to justify the cost with their older kids who are completely healthy. But
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Another thing that's new with me, I was thinking a lot recently about kind of like restructuring. I offer a lot, and one of the since I'm an integrative pediatrician, I feel like can offer a lot of different things, and not everyone necessarily wants that like more
Right.
holistic integrative approach. But there are some families who absolutely love it and seek me out because of that. There are other families that are like, we just want a pediatrician who is more accessible, right?
Yeah.
And so I've struggled for a long time. I've kind of waffled, with like, should I change my prices? Should I do this? Should I do that? What about those kids who really need more behavioral health support? And I'm having to see them like every week or every 2 weeks. It's
Right.
just the risk pooling just gets kind of messy. And it's like, how do
Hmm.
I address that issue? So I finally decided that I was just going to have different levels of service. And I just tried to make it as simple as possible. So I have my basic like essentials membership, and that's the one that's like all the well visits plus I actually put a cap on it. Is it up to six visits a year? I think I got that idea from you, Phil, actually, because you said something in a past episode where you do have some sort of cap. Is that true?
No.
Or not really? Okay, maybe I got it from someone else. Sorry.
Sorry.
But
I love to take idea. I take credit for great ideas, but that was not
anyway.
my idea.
But yeah, I just realized that it's much more affordable, that essentials membership,
Yeah.
and it just makes it so that there are realistic expectations, because I was also falling into the trap of only charging someone $100 a month and then seeing them every 2 weeks for
Right.
behavioral health. And
Right.
I was like, that doesn't work. Just I do the math, it doesn't work. And
Yeah,
so
that doesn't work.
I have my essentials membership, then I have my sort of complex care membership, and I say it's between this and this, but I have to see you, I have to meet with you
Right.
and figure out what your kids' needs are, and then we can come up with a custom price, right? And that's really more for like the behavioral health kind of concerns where I
Yeah.
do the hypnosis, I do the
Right.
myofascial release therapy. I can do a
Right.
lot to help them, but I have to charge because otherwise it just doesn't work. And then I have like a concierge home visit package because I do have one family who's like more celebrity status and they have a lot of money, and they asked me, hey, can we pay you more and get like home visits? And they live
Yeah.
close to me, so it works perfectly. So yeah, just I decided to finally put it out there and revise my contracts and just have those 3 levels of
Very
service.
cool.
That way people feel like they have more options also and they can choose what's right for them. But I'm also not trying to offer way too much for like $100 a month, right?
Right.
Which
You
doesn't
either
cover that much.
you price yourself out or you price patients out when you
Yeah.
try and do all that. So I love that idea. I think I'm going to be processing that for a while now, that concept, because people love options and
Yeah.
they love choices too. And if you have the little thing that says, here's our essentials package, and then
Mhm.
here's our plus, package or complex
Yeah.
care package, then people can decide what they want.
Yeah.
And it gives them a little bit more autonomy over not to directly compare your services to a car wash. But when I go to the car wash, There's 4 different options, and I don't
Yes.
even know what the other options do. I never pick the most basic one. I never pick the most expensive one. I always pick the
Uh-huh.
middle one, not really knowing if I'm going to like, if they're actually gonna wash the
Yeah.
undercarriage or the tires or whatever it is. But
Uh-huh.
having those options makes me actually pick a more expensive one than if there was just one option. So people love that control.
Uh-huh. Yeah, absolutely. And then there's something about like the valuation. Sometimes when we
Mhm.
have those options, it's like, oh, like I want the best or not, or like I
Totally.
don't know. Or some people are of the mentality that I just always want the most economical thing,
Right,
right? And
right.
so you can kind of cater to like, different mindsets around that. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's the most recent change I made in my pricing model. Within my essentials, I still try to keep it minimal. I know a lot of people have like multiple tiers, like based on age. I
yeah,
just have two. I have like a 0 to 2, and I have a
uh-huh,
2 plus. I just feel like that keeps it simpler. So, because with giving options, it's true that people like options, but they don't like too many options because then it's
totally.
like decision fatigue. And so it's kind of trying to find that sweet spot. So that's my next experiment with my service levels and pricing.
I love it. That's so cool. The next one that I wanted to share was we kind of along similar lines are launching a virtual care option for families.
Uh huh.
So we have a lot of families that live in our state that we can care for, just with our medical licenses being for the state, but they're
Yeah.
not close enough by.
Mm-hmm.
And they want that personal touch. They might live in a healthcare sort of desert, and
Mm-hmm.
we can't do everything for them, but we can do more than nothing for them and
Yeah.
often help them. And so that's the newest thing that we're launching in terms of like offerings is a virtual membership. It's
Yeah.
priced much more economically than if you are coming into the office. If you are maybe going to need an appointment this afternoon, so I have to like mentally keep the space for you in the
Mm-hmm.
schedule. Like these are families that live far enough away that if their kid, needs to get swabbed for strep throat
Mm-hmm.
or, needs a broken bone reset or stitches or something like that, they're going to go to their local urgent care ER primary care doctor, but they do want that extra touch of the pediatrician in their back pocket. And so we
Yeah.
kind of developed the program similar to what's it called? Blueberry, which is kind of a
Uh-huh.
national company that
Yeah.
does overnight care, urgent care sort of things virtually.
Right.
Our price point is much higher than Blueberry, which is like $20 a year or
Yeah, it's
something absurd
crazy.
like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
like how
Yeah.
does anyone compete against that? But it does allow families to have access to us, and then they can go, like, we do a lot of parenting support too, so not just the rashes and sore throats and stuffy noses, but like potty training or sleep issues or
Yeah.
behavioral challenge, like kind of more basic behavioral challenges of like,
Mhm.
try to do less rewards or try to do less punishments and try to be more an authoritative parent, kind of more the big picture stuff that you could read in a parenting book.
Yeah.
um, and working through that with them. So that's our newest thing that we've kind of soft launched. We haven't really started talking about it yet much, but it's kind of something that we've been working towards
Uh-huh.
this past quarter to start offering.
Yeah, exciting. I think I saw that. You posted about that, and I
Hmm.
I thought about that as I was kind of thinking about my service levels. I was like, I wonder if maybe someday. Right now, I don't think I have the bandwidth for
Yeah.
that, but I think eventually if I, end up adding a provider someday, that would be a cool option because I also have those families that I had one family who lives an hour away.
Yeah.
Actually, no, now they live an hour away. They used to live maybe 20 minutes away, and then they moved an hour away, and they said, "Hey, we love you, but an hour is just kind of too much for us to
Totally.
be able to drive. Do you have like a virtual option?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, I could probably come up with something for you." But
As a matter of fact, we do. Give me a minute
exactly.
and a napkin to write out what that looks
Yeah.
like.
But it made me think of that. And then I have a lot of people have asked who are like sort of 45 minutes south in Utah County versus Salt Lake County.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine was like, "Oh, I love your model. I love what you do, but like the price is just like too much of our family. Do
Yeah.
you have like a virtual care option that would include like 2 virtual visits a year or whatever, you
Right.
know?" So that made me think about it. So maybe down the line. Right now it doesn't feel right, but I love that you're doing that. You're at the point where that works, and I love that.
I also like to try things to share with other pediatricians. Like, hey, here's another thing that you can do. Like, I feel like we're good at testing the market and seeing what the
Yeah.
market will do.
Yeah.
And so, like, part of it is just to be able to share with other pediatricians, like, hey, if you're struggling or if people are leaving, what if instead of them leaving, you just converted them to a virtual membership and you could
Yeah.
still play a role in their kid's life and take good care of them. But they also had a regular pediatrician that they saw for the stuffy noses and checkups, but you were able to, keep making a difference for them and creating a revenue opportunity. So we kind of like to try things out too. It's kind of a sandbox for testing new.
I love it. I love it. And I love that you share. Let's see. Last thing for me, we finally got VaxCare about 2 weeks ago,
nice.
thanks in part to that pilot program with you. And there have been some pain points. Overall, we're very happy with having it and being able to offer vaccines through insurance to more people. Before we were absorbing, Margie and I were absorbing the cost of vaccines for our member families. And it is sometimes painful. That Prevnar is $250. So I think our profit margins will increase. It is more time on my staff, I think, because so it's a little bit balanced, but I still think overall totally worth it. And we're excited to be able to we're still kind of working out some of the kinks and figuring out the workflow and how to input the data efficiently into 2 systems, because we have to put it into our state vaccine registry and then we have to put it into into VaxCare and everything and into our EMR. So that's a little bit painful, but I think overall having insurance pay the bill for these really expensive childhood vaccines and some of the teen vaccines like Minactra and HPV.
Some of them are so
totally
expensive.
worth it.
Yeah, for sure.
And the RSV vaccine, which is ridiculously expensive, $400, $500 per dose.
I don't know how people do it otherwise.
Yeah. And actually, Margie recently did a home visit, and she's my clinic partner, but she said that she was impressed that the little cell phones, the little hubs that they give you, they have a service plan. And so she was able to use it on a home visit, and that was amazing.
I just realized that too, because we did a home visit, and sometimes we'll just scan them out before we go on the home visit so that they aren't there. But we were doing a daycare flu drive, where we had 40 kids at a daycare that were doing flu. So we wanted to bring it then so we could scan them as we went, and it worked perfect. I didn't realize that either, that it wasn't tied to Wi-Fi.
Yeah. So we're excited to have VaxCare at long last after 3 years of having to find alternate solutions. And this really is a pain point. Hopefully it can become more accessible over time to smaller practices starting out. Sure. I know it's hard because it's a risk on, their business side. If you have too many HPV vaccines hanging in your fridge and you don't use them and they expire, they lose money. So I know it's a balance. They're a business, just like we're a business. They have to weigh their, risks and benefits. So that's my newest update. Excited to finally have VaxCare. It didn't exist in Utah until just a few months ago.
I know, that's awesome. I'm so glad that it exists there and that you're able to get on.
Yeah. All right.
Our last thing is we added a part-time speech language pathologist to our team. This was my original dream had been to have the whole dream lineup on day one of kind of all of the different players in the pediatric health space. And it's just taken time, as things do, to actually get to that point. But we started on day one with a play therapist who does mental health in our office. She's pretty much full now. And so then somebody came and they said, I love your model and want to be able to help more families. And so we figured out how to add her in. Essentially, she rents the space from us and then is co-located with us. So it works really well for our families to get in to see her. And then she can bring in her own patients and her own patient panel from where she previously worked. And so she's got her room set up and space set up. And so that's the new exciting thing for us, is adding on a speech language pathologist who likes infant feeding a lot. She likes the typical kind of general speech delays and those sorts of things, but then she does a lot of autism too, and AACs and all of those sorts of things. So we're excited to have her as somebody, a resource for us and for our patients as well. So that's our new cool thing.
That's amazing. Excellent. Did you just have a spare room that she could use, or are you having to share spaces, or what?
We had a spare room. We had a room that we use for our autism evaluations that we just decided we can just do those in whichever room we need to, or her room when she's not there, and just schedule around that. So that kind of, there was the space available. So
nice. That's amazing. I love how you have this, you're creating this multidisciplinary team, because it's so convenient for families to just have to go to one place. And everything is there. It's really nice. It's, we talk about medical homes and this, we can also create medical homes within DPC. I think you're an example of someone who's doing that. I'm working on getting there.
Yeah. It's been
Awesome.
really cool to have others, because then it's just more people to bounce ideas off of, because I have my silo of the things that I know and that I'm good at, but then I can ask our therapist, what's their approach for this, or what do you think about this patient? And then same with speech language pathologists. Like I have my kind of things that I think about speech,
Yeah.
but they're probably out of date and they're probably not as nuanced as they should be. And so then getting
Yeah.
her input on that, or having us get to both see the families, super cool.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing your updates, Phil. That was fun to
Likewise.
learn about. All right.
Hopefully people
Hope
can
you all had-
process on these and see what would work in their clinic. Like I'm already processing on what you
Uh-huh.
were saying about your different tiers, and just
Same.
I'll be thinking on that for a while. So
Yeah. All right. Until next time, everyone.
bye everyone.